Live on YouTube and Google+, it's Pageant Live. This is the place for glamour and style. Get great pageant tips you won't find anywhere else. Find out what you need to know before your next pageant. Post your questions and comments for our panel during the show. Learn great ideas about all aspects of pageantry. Here we go. Pageant Live starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Pageant Live. I'm Christina Stoddard and I'm excited to be your host tonight. Tonight our guests will be introducing themselves along with their best pageant tips. Before we meet our guests this evening, let me introduce you to Pageant Live's owner and producer, Pam Corbett.
Hi everyone, this is definitely going to be a show you do not want to miss. We're going to be giving a lot of good pageant information. I'm just hot off the judges. I just judged a pageant this weekend, so we're going to give you some great tips. You don't want to miss this Pageant Live, this episode, because this is definitely something that you can take and get some advice from people who have judged or who have been up there on the stage. But I would like to welcome everyone. And go ahead, Stephanie, it's to you.
Well, hello everyone, and I want to say thank you to Christina for helping host this evening, and thank you to the beautiful guests for joining us tonight. I want to also thank all of the viewers out there for checking out PageantLive.com. We are beyond thrilled because we have gotten over 59,000 hits in the last few months. So we're very excited about that. Thanks for checking us out. When you're there, be sure to stop by Ask the Crown. We have some great questions posted and answers. We invite you to post your responses as well. And if you have a pageant-related question, send it to askthecrown@gmail.com.
We'd also like to showcase any fabulous pageant assistants out there, any directors that are interested in advertising on our website. Please email show@pageantlive.com.
And we also want to thank Pageant Live sponsor, Royal Bliss Boutique. They have an amazing selection of pageant gowns, prom gowns, shoes, accessories, swimwear. When you are on PageantLive.com, click on Royal Bliss's link to check out their fabulous items. I saw that they recently got an incredible shipment of jewelry, gorgeous jewelry. I saw another pair of these fabulous red earrings that I'm wearing, so I know they're available, so be sure to check them out.
And Skull Sugar Cosmetics, oh my gosh, they have the most amazing hypoallergenic makeup that you just want to just go and play with it all just by looking at it over the computer. You can go to Pageant Live website and go where it says the promo code and enter in Pageant20 and receive 20% discount from your order. I can just tell you, Stephanie wears the Skull Sugar Cosmetics and it looks amazing, and it looks like it stays a long time on your eyes, where it would be great for an appearance or what have you. You look fabulous tonight.
Oh, thank you. It sure does. I love Skull Sugar Cosmetics. It's so luxurious, and it's fabulous. And Pam wears Skull Sugar too. I know she loves the cosmetics. So yeah, be sure to check them out as well.
Well, before we get going and start introducing our guests, we'd like to remind you, if you have a question for us, you can tweet us at Pageant Live, post it on our Pageant Live Facebook page, or you can go to Pageant Live's YouTube page.
Absolutely. Well, we'd like to get started by having our guests introduce themselves. So, Mina, let's start with you. Oh, and Mina, I think you might be muted.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. It happens to us all the time.
Hi, everyone out there in cyber world. My name is Amina Gilyard, and I am Miss Exquisite International 2012.
Well, we're so excited to have you with us tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And now we will move on to Quiana.
Good evening, everyone. I am Quiana Rockette, the reigning Miss Pageant Gal US Mrs., and I'm glad to be with you all this afternoon.
And so glad you are joining us as well, Quiana. So I know everyone's excited to be listening to our special secrets and pageant tips. So Christina, I'll hand it back to you.
Thanks, Stephanie. Well, my name is Christina Stoddard, and I am Mrs. American Dream 2012-2013. So I am just about ready at the end of my reign here. So that's an introduction of myself. So I'm excited to share some of my own tips as we get ready to go into our national pageant. Go ahead, Stephanie.
All right, well, that sounds good. All right, so Mina, let's start with you. Can you tell us some of your best pageant tips or secrets, something that we all want to know?
Well, Stephanie, I learned in a recent pageant during an opening number, we were in rehearsals. And you know how sometimes they break you in two so that half the group can watch the other half? And what my partner told me when I was done was, even though I didn't do the dance moves that great, that I should keep smiling because my smile stood out apart from everyone else's. And the thing that told me was always bring your personality. You do have to research the system. In some systems, less is more, but definitely always be you. Always bring your personality because it might help you stand out when it's most needed, especially if you have two left feet.
Well, very, very good tip. Absolutely. And I know that's something I definitely have to be wearing my smile during an opening number, a dance, because that is not my forte. So excellent advice. Excellent advice. And do you have any other tips for us tonight?
Well, I touched on it briefly, but I've competed in a few different systems now, and you really do have to do your research. The pageant world is very large, I learned once I got into pageants, and some systems value certain things and other systems value other things. So you really have to make sure you do your research, and it will help you in all-around competition. It will help you score higher on interview. It will help you score higher on evening gown. And so just really, really do your research and make sure you're finding the system that fits best for you.
Absolutely. And you know what, Mina, I was thinking about this this afternoon, actually. And it's so important to find the pageant system that's the right fit. It's not just one that you pick out and say, I want to be queen of this system, but you have to find the right fit for you. So true. So true.
You know, I want to touch on that for a minute, Stephanie, if I can.
Absolutely.
You know, I was getting into this pageant system that I'm in, American Dream. My daughter also competed at the same time as I did, and she was a first-time pageant pioneer, so she was able to go through and just research so many pageants. And it's so important that you fall in love not only with the system and what it stands for, but for your director, because you're going to be supporting them and promoting them. And I was lucky enough that my daughter picked a phenomenal pageant that we both went into, and we just really love it, and we are excited for the girls that are watching tonight. I believe we have an American Dream queen that was going to be on with us tonight. So I hope she is able to come on and give our things, but you really need to research. I agree.
Yeah, we were having a lot of technical difficulty tonight, everyone, so we apologize for that. We had a few queens that should be on but did not make it. We definitely can't, we don't control technology, you know.
Right, yes. Difficulties there, but you know what, and Christina, you're absolutely right. I've been on both sides of the spectrum when it comes to directors. I've had directors that you know, no support, no communication, nothing. You know, I send messages or phone calls with questions. I never hear anything, and you really need to be careful of that. Is that the type of system that you want to be a queen for the next year? No support, nothing out there. I'm really lucky with America's Super Pageant. My current title, Janet, is a fabulous director. She responds to everything, every question, very supportive. So yeah, definitely something that you need to be aware of when choosing a system.
I would like to put a question out there. Has anybody ever struggled with like a zipper coming undone right as you're getting ready to go out and do evening wear? What do you do? What happens when that, what do you do? Anybody have a tip on that?
I do, actually. I remember having a zipper break off, and one of my friends grabbed a safety pin that was nearby. They took the safety pin, zipped the dress the rest of the way, took it out, and I went on stage as if nothing ever happened.
Good for you. That is awesome.
Exactly. That's true pageant girl, right? Go out there like nothing ever happened.
Yes.
If I could piggyback off of what Quiana said, keeping your composure is so important. I remember a pageant I did last August. I actually came on stage in front of the judges and tripped over my dress a little, but I just kept going as though nothing had ever happened, like Quiana said. So that's another tip I'd like to throw out there. Always keep your composure at all times, even if it may seem impossible.
Completely agree. Completely agree. And I have a zipper story too. Actually, at America's Super Pageant last year, someone's zipper broke, and I happened to bring a needle and thread. So when you go to a pageant, just bring whatever you think, just crazy stuff, because you never know when you're going to need it. But I had a needle and thread. We sewed her into her dress, and she ended up winning the crown. So just bring an emergency kit, needle, thread, all kinds of crazy things, super glue. You never know what's going to happen and what you're going to be able to use to solve your little dilemma there.
Excuse me, Stephanie, I have a gown story. I judged this weekend very beautiful, accomplished women. One of my favorites, I mean, as a judge, you do, in the interview, she was phenomenal, and she was very accomplished. But I have to tell you, when she came out with her gown, I couldn't look past the gown to look at the girl.
Right.
And in my mind, just like they tell all the contestants, this is no secret, they say, don't judge the gown, judge the woman in the gown. Well, I couldn't get past the gown to judge the woman. And I was pushing myself saying, Pam, judge the woman, judge the woman. But my mind was just going, what kind of gown is that? What is that? And she was one of my favorites.
Right, right.
So, I mean, be careful when you make your selection of your gown. Really, less is better, because that way the judges don't get confused. We are judging you then. In other words, forget the flashy shoes, forget all the you can do bling, but just be very tasteful. But I could not get through the woman's gown, and I really liked her.
Yep.
And she didn't win.
Pam. That's one reason I like the Exquisite International pageant system. They really do stress judging the woman and not the gown. When I won my title last September, I chose a very simple, very classic mermaid red gown, complemented my complexion, very little rhinestone pattern against the collar. And my gown was actually pretty plain next to the other contestants, but it made me radiate. The gown complimented me. I didn't compliment the gown.
Exactly. That's right. Yep.
I'm telling you, she was my favorite too.
Yep.
And I think less is more is coming in. As we looked at Miss America. She won, and she was wearing the most plain gown of them all. But it let her beauty from inside show, because she was confident, even though she had one of those clothes hanging hooks, that was coming out underneath her arm. I don't know if you all noticed that, but
oh my gosh, no! What good?
Yes, she, in her white gown, she had the little tag that hangs on the hanger that was coming out of the side.
That's a good tip. Watch those, right?
Yes, watch those, because people notice them. I noticed that. I picked that up right away. But she still won because she was the gown. The gown wasn't her. So that is very important.
And another thing, too, I noticed is I understand that, people can't afford to go out and buy a new gown and everything. But if you do buy a gown, invest in a tailor. Have it tailored. I mean, Some of those gowns were way too short. Some of them didn't fit right. Now, if you're going to have to, you know, if you have only $200 to spend, buy that $75 dress and put the rest on tailoring. I could tell the difference of the ones that have been tailored versus had not.
Absolutely.
And I'm not an expert.
I'm glad you brought that up. So true. So important. There is no reason why any of your pageant attire should not be fitting you perfectly. So important. Get a seamstress who knows exactly what they're doing. Yes, you want your clothes to fit you perfectly. It's going to make a huge difference. And again, also like the lady said, you know, find something that complements you and lets you shine forth. Not an overpowering gown. I'm a petite girl, and so the gown that I chose would not have been something that I would choose if I could have my choice of any gown. So you need to pick the gown that's right for you and is going to showcase you the best on stage. But seamstress, yes, number one.
Absolutely.
Stephanie, that is something that makes me think about one of the tips that I have. It's to compete against yourself. There's so many girls that go in and they want to size up the competition and see what everyone else has. What gown are they wearing? How do they look? What size are they? It doesn't matter who they are or what they have. You are beautiful, unique, and special. And so the goal is to go out there and be your personal best, to do better than what you've done before. And that's one thing that I try to make sure that I instill in all of the young ladies that I coach, and then in my queens as well, that you are unique and special, and to just embrace that and showcase yourself to the judges.
With that being said, I agree. Let me give another tip that I saw. There was a woman that came out on stage, and I'm not going to go into, I mean, there were so many other things that probably I could have looked at, but the only thing I could see is that her shoes were about a size and a half too big. That's the only thing I noticed. I thought, what's wrong with her shoes? I mean, I'm sitting here, and here I'm judging. You know, once again, make sure if you have to go and buy a pair of shoes on, what is it, at one of the rack places, for $5.99, make sure they fit.
Right, exactly. Yes, it's all these little things that people don't necessarily think of, but when you're judging, and Pam, like you were judging, these are the things that you see on stage. You know, the girls are up higher, you can see their feet, you can see their shoes. Right.
Can I say one other thing? Waterproof mascara.
Right.
Waterproof, no matter if you think that you're winning or you're not winning, waterproof mascara, because that little moment where either you're winning Miss Congeniality or you're winning the crown and you just get this little burst of emotion and you start crying, there's nothing worse than in your pictures of memories and seeing the mascara running down your face. It's not pretty.
That's
yes,
right.
You guys are. You're beautiful.
I had another tip. It's something I actually think about a lot. And a lot of pageants, swimsuit sections are still in. And when we were talking about evening gowns, this reminded me of it. But in some pageants, the fitness competition is becoming really popular. And for some of us, it's not as easy to choose good fitness wear as it may be for another contestant. I know that I rather take risks than to play it safe. So does anyone have any good pageant boot camp exercise tips so we can get in shape for that fitness wear or swimsuit?
I'm going to tell you, the women were in phenomenal shape. I thought, oh my gosh, these girls, they're in phenomenal shape. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the pageant trainers were there.
Oh, sure, right.
You know, they were in great shape, some of those women.
But you know, if you don't have money to hire a trainer, there are so many things that you can do just in your home by using a chair.
Right.
Use the chair and do your leg kicks and keep the bottom of your tush tight, your legs tight by doing your kicks, doing like turbo kicks. putting your hands up against the wall and like doing push-ups, it builds those arm muscles, and there's nothing, when you have beautiful arms and that is firm, you're going to look radiant, and it's not going to be necessarily, you know, the risk of what you're taking, but it's how you portray your confidence in that, in your fitness wear or in your swimming suit, if you're toned and you're ready.
Right. Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of leg lunges, and I do it with the steps. So I put my foot on the step in front of me, so I'm actually stepping up and doing leg lunges. Huge fan of those. I think they really, you know, work the legs, the butt, everything. And I can tell you in America's Super Pageant, I competed in a one-piece. I was going back and forth about competing in a two-piece swimsuit versus a one-piece. This is my personal opinion to everyone out there. Unless your body is amazing, if you look incredible, wear a two-piece. Go for it. But if there's anything you think maybe you shouldn't be showing the judges, wear a one-piece. And I won swimsuit again, and like you said, ladies, I think it had to do a lot with personality and how I came out on stage. I wore a one-piece, I won swimsuit, but if there's anything, if you're showing something to the judges in a two-piece, there's more to be critical of, more to judge you down for. The more they can see, the more chance of losing points. So, you know, sometimes depending on how your body is, I think it's better to wear a one-piece. So that's my personal opinion.
You know, that's very interesting, because by virtue of watching those women, and some of the women I could have, by them just walking out and having the guts to being in a bathing suit, they started at a 4. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought, I mean, seriously, I thought, you know, I mean, I could have ripped them apart, but I said, I got to give it to these women. They are here, and, you know, the extremely good ones got 5, but the majority of them got 4 because we're human too. I'm a woman. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what guts, what they just held their head high, whether it was shaken or not. So I was like, go for it, girl. You know, that's a judge's, you know, there's
one exercise I'd like to let you all know about. I was watching the Today Show, and this was years ago, so I can't tell you, you know, when it was, but it was a segment of getting healthy, and it was when I started getting into pageants. And one of the exercises that they said to do is to do it in your closet and just jump straight up with your hands up above your head and then like squat down. Do it 10 times before you get in the shower. And I'll tell you, by the second day, I did not want to be jumping anymore because my legs were killing me. But it really helped. It really focused in on some of those glute muscles that you really need.
Wait a minute, let's go back. In your closet?
Yeah.
I would be knocked out because my closet is like there's no space.
Well, I didn't want to do it in front of my husband.
You must have a big closet, girl.
My kids, so I was just like, woo, just like jumping up and down in my closet.
I think your husband's like, what are you doing in there?
I know exactly the exercise you're talking about. I think they're called vertical lunges or something like that. They're really good for the booty. I don't know if I can say that on the show.
You just did.
And also for the abs. So that's a great exercise.
So you just sit there and jump up and down?
Jump up and down.
But you have to lunge down.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought we were just jumping one way.
I don't think that I could make that happen in my closet either. There are too many shoes. However, I will say something that you can do outside would be power walking, and I carry weights and sometimes even have ankle weights. It's wonderful to help you to tone, and then you can enjoy just being outdoors. And then also something that's very essential is drinking plenty of water. There's so many young ladies that end up dehydrated. They're doing all these exercises but are not replenishing the fluids in their bodies. And so it's very important to not only to exercise but to eat right and then also to drink plenty of water.
And with that being said, you need to remember when you're on stage, if you don't drink enough water and the lights are hot and they're steaming on you, you don't want to be swaying back and forth. You want to be able to be hydrated so that you don't pass out.
And water is good for the skin, ladies. Water creates.
And you know something else? My daughter Paige, when she competed, they told her cut everything out, white and dairy, 2 weeks before the pageant, and she dropped a lot of weight. I was actually shocked.
Right, right.
She just dropped sugar. You know what I'm saying? Anything that was white, she cut out of her diet.
Anything that's good, right?
Yeah, you're right.
And I want to go back to the working out. You know, right before you go out in aerobic wear or swimwear, you know, do some leg lunges. You know, get down, do a couple of crunches. So everything, you know, you can tone it up, just kind of get it strong right before you go out. Yeah, so do that. That's a good tip too.
Yeah, I saw that they were doing crunches in the back of the USA in Maryland. Everybody was on the ground. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay.
Absolutely.
But listen, other tip too. Let me talk about platform. Now, the women were extremely accomplished. I enjoyed judging and stuff like this. But let me give you a tip. Don't know your platform. Even if you're going to make your platform up, please research it and know what you're talking about. Because Stephanie and I are getting ready to do a worldwide charity event. And one of the things with our international queens, trafficking of women is very big, you know, all over the world. And so we had been doing extensive hangouts and discussions with women who this is in their backyard, this is going on. Anyway, so a couple of the women were talking about human trafficking, their platform. So naturally I was like, well, tell me about it. And I mean, I couldn't believe the answers. I was thinking, and you can't say anything like, you're kidding me, right? But that's what I was thinking. Because they had not researched their platform. I understand everybody's busy, but if you're going to say my platform is the SPCA, and I say, oh, really, what do you do with the SPCA? And you say, well, I'm researching. I'm looked at the website, and I'm going to start walking dogs.
Right, exactly. And go into it with having done something with your platform.
Yes.
Exactly. Know about it, and then actually, you know, do something with it before you get there. You know, why should the judges choose you if you haven't done anything to promote your platform, the pageant's platform? You know, if you haven't done it up to this point, you know, what are you waiting for?
You know, Stephanie. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I have to say too, Stephanie, I was gonna say what you just said about the pageant's platform, because I've seen a lot of people get so caught up in their own platform that they have never even done a community service event for the pageant platform. You have to juggle both, because that's just as important in judging as what you do on your own.
Wait 1 second. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Say that again. I had difficulties with you. I'm sorry with your.
I was saying you just have to juggle your platform and the pageant's platform, because the judges will also be looking to see if you would be a good ambassador and a representative for their organization for their actual platform, regardless of what you do on your own platform.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. You're an ambassador for the pageant system. You're crowned. You are now ambassador for the pageant system and your platform and the pageant's platform. And that's what we're looking for. Someone can juggle all that.
I'm really glad that you all said that, because one of my tips was about the interview. It is very important to be real. There are a lot of young ladies that will go in there and they think they have an idea of what the judges want to hear, and so they create this facade of who they are just to impress the judges, and then, like you said, here we go with your platform, and then they have no idea, no clue, and they show it. So I've always told young ladies, and even tried to embody this myself, to make sure that you're real, that you know about what you're doing, that you have a passion for what it is that you say is your platform. If you have no passion for it, you have no drive for it, then how do you expect for it to be carried out? So being real, down to earth, and personable all help you to be successful in the interview process. And to me, the interview is the selling point, or the most important aspect of a pageant, because you want people who are able to be that ambassador, be that spokesperson. I don't want someone standing up to represent my organization and then you ask them, okay, well, tell me a little bit about the pageant system that you're representing, and basically the only thing you can tell them about is the crown that you have on your head and the colors of the organization. Well, that amounts to a hill of beans. You need to have some solid information, and why are you supporting this organization? Why did you want to run to be an ambassador for this organization? So I think those things are very key and very important in choosing of new queens.
I agree. You know what I ask people? Tell me something that's not on your bio.
Right.
Well, that really got them because I've already read your bio and all about you, you know, or what you wrote. Now I want to know something. So then you have to be creative, and you have to think outside of it. You know, and
have a tip on how to stay real in that interview. Give us a sense of how to stay real in the interview. Anybody have a tip on that?
I think it goes back to what Quiana said earlier about competing against yourself. If you're trying to be your personal best, you're not worried about being someone else or being what you think the judges want to see. You're worried about being the best Amina or Christina or Pam that you can be. So I think it really ties into what Quiana said.
I agree. And and if you're passionate about your platform, even if you haven't started working in it, the passion is going to come through.
Right.
That is so true. That is so true. I believe that you have to have something that grounds you. What is it that you're there for? What is motivating you to be there? And that helps you to stay on that ground level when you know why you've been working. What has caused you to work so hard to be here? What struggles have you gone through? There are so many people that look at pageant representatives and feel like, oh, you have this pretty crown on your head. You look pretty. You know, you haven't faced any struggles. You haven't gone through anything. And it's far from the truth. On this side, I've been a competitor, I've been a judge, a coach, and now I'm a pageant owner. And I get to deal with young ladies who go through things. You know, they're calling saying, I'm going through this issue. I have this going on and that going on. And all of those things have helped to make them stronger. And I've told them to take those things, use those in your interview when they want to know about you. Allow the judges to know who you are, see where you've come from, and that helps us to know where you're going.
That's right. Share your story.
And
share emotion.
Yeah, but let me give you one other thing that threw me. One thing I would advise strongly, we come to the end and you're in the top 5. And basically anybody that's been a judge knows this is the time when I don't start you off at a 4. You know what I'm saying? Now it's the time to really judge. Be careful if you give too strong of an opinion. Because remember, you may... The person's opinion you're giving that's very strong, it may not fit into everyone across the board. So I would give you that much. Like example, remember the young woman in USA that said and it was a tough question. They were saying, do you believe marriage is between a man and a woman, or you know, something like that? And she stood up and she said, I believe it's between a man and a woman because that's what God wanted. That's what she said, and she didn't win. But she stood for her conviction, and that's okay. But know that if you stand and you're very strong or too strong, you could offend someone and your score goes down.
Well, you know, that's very true. One of the things that I've always told, you know, just related to myself and to others is to be real, not raw. There's a difference. You want to be real. You want to be where people understand you and they see where you're coming from, but you don't want to give so much to where it's just a raw edge where it could cut someone. However, I do think it is important as well to stand by your values, your morals, whatever it is that you're believing in, because it does you no good to say one thing in front of someone, you know, you're in one place, and then you move over to another platform and then you won't stand by it. If it's something that I believe in, then I'm going to stand by it, but I'm going to put it in a way that lets you know that these are my beliefs. You don't have to embody them, but when you ask me, this is my response.
And that's okay.
I can say from my perspective, I am also the co-director for DC Exquisite Pageants. This year is the first year that the international director is having state pageants. And I tell my queens that it's best to remain neutral. That doesn't mean hiding your beliefs, but as a personal philosophy, I think there's 1,000 ways to get everything done. And the number one thing about being a queen is that you have to be relatable to the masses. So you definitely don't want to isolate anybody by having too strong beliefs, but you also don't want to isolate anyone by not being yourself. So in situations where you can, it's best to seem or to appear neutral, and you don't have to answer questions. I've gotten myself out of plenty of conversations by just saying I don't necessarily have an opinion on that, even if I did, because it just wasn't necessary for me to address it. So I think as queens, we definitely have to be careful how we portray ourselves, especially because we're in the limelight and there's always someone who's looking for something to pick at, right, or some reason to put us down or something. So we definitely have to be very careful.
Better be safe than sorry. Right, exactly. Yeah, very true.
Well, Stephanie, tell us a little bit about your platform, would you?
Oh, sure. Platforms? I would love to. Well, America's Super Pageants platform is seatbelt safety. And I've been working very hard. I've already made over 100 appearances as International Super Ms. Very excited about that. And I believe there are only 46 days until America's Super Pageant, until I pass on the crown. So I think it's going to be a very emotional pageant weekend. I've grown very attached to the title and promoting seatbelt safety and educating others about buckling up and talking to people, telling people that I'm alive today because I wore a seatbelt. I was in a life-threatening car crash, and because I had my seatbelt on, I am here. So I'm living proof that seatbelts do save lives.
All right, so just to wrap up, I would like to give our queens just a few minutes to wrap up their platforms. Amina, why don't you go ahead and give us a few quick snips about your platform and one last pageant tip.
Thanks, Christina. My platform is called Wellness Ambassadors, bringing health education to medically underserved communities. I'm from Queens, New York, and I moved to DC a few years ago, and at that time I learned that DC had some of the highest rates of preventable chronic diseases in the nation, even though we're such a small area and not even technically a state. So I really wanted to tackle that. So what I do is I go into the community and I hold health education workshops on whatever topic they desire. If you go to my website, aminalily.com, people can enter a form, and that's how they get in contact with me. And just from a contestant standpoint, and what Pam was saying earlier about passion, I always feel like I have somewhat of an edge when I go into my personal interview because I actually studied health education in grad school. I'm a certified health education specialist. My full-time job is a public health educator, so it really is my passion, and I make sure that I always point out to the judges that this is just not something I'm doing because I got involved in this pageant or this competition. This is my lifelong goal, my lifelong passion. This is something I'd be doing 24/7 even if I didn't have a crown on my head. My last tip, I guess, would be about makeup. When I first got into pageants, I really didn't know what to do because my complexion is kind of in between, and I knew nothing about blending different colors together. So what I would say to any pageant girl is make sure that you get a professional makeup consultation, make sure that you consult with an expert, and also know that you don't have to be overdone. No matter what the pageant, I think that natural beauty is always appreciated, so you want to make sure that that shows through.
Thank you.
You know, real quick, Amina, you know, you can do those consultations for free at department stores. It can be as what, $25, you know, if you want to hire a makeup artist. So they are quite reasonable.
Right. Thank you so much. Let's have you, Kanisha, give us a little bit about your platform.
Well, my platform is building self-esteem and confidence in youth. I've had a wonderful time mentoring youth through motivational speaking. I love the arts. I love to sing. I love to dance and do spoken word. And so I've enjoyed being able to share that with these young people, and bringing out their talents has helped them to feel better about themselves and to grow. My degree is in education, and I've taught middle school and high school, and we know that those are very crucial times in a child's life when they need the most support and love and need to feel like they are someone. And so I've just enjoyed getting a chance to do that. I have bonded with these young ladies and young men that I've met over the years. It's just been really special to me. Also with my own pageant system, having these queens and the contestants be able to call and say, you know, I have a concern, are you able to talk to me, or what should I do about this? For them to feel comfortable enough to do that has been just motivational to me. It also has helped to make me a better person. I believe that because I have to hold myself at a higher standard, because I know that they're watching, they're looking, and they want to see what I'm doing, then it makes me better. It pushes me to reach further for my dreams. If they see me being able to accomplish those things, then they feel that they can go on and reach their own dreams. My last pageant tip is one that's a little bit funny to me. It seems that always young ladies, when they get ready to do their talent, if they mess up or they forget something, you know, it's the oops, I made a stinky, the face of I did something wrong. So one thing I always try to do, no matter what, I don't care if I made a big plop, no one knows your talent but you. So keep going. Improvise if you have to. Just don't let everyone know that, hey, this didn't go quite the way that I expected it to. Just keep going. Keep smiling, keep dancing, keep singing, keep reciting, and know that, hey, everything is going to work out if you're giving your all.
Thank you so much. And as for myself, my name is Christina Stoddard, and I am thankful to Pageant Live for letting me co-host with Stephanie tonight. I am the National Queen for American Dream. I'm giving up my title here in August, so I'm thankful for that pageant system and for the opportunities that it has given me to work with cancer survivors. That is my platform, is giving every cancer a voice, not just the ones that are so out and about, because I am a survivor of lung cancer, and I competed while going through treatment. So anytime that you have a dream and you have something that you're passionate about, just reach for the stars and reach for your dream, because nothing is up there to stop you except for yourself. And I appreciate everybody that's been behind me the whole journey. I have been blessed with so many friends, and to have all of you surrounding me right now, I'm so thankful to be with you and to be on this show. And Stephanie, thank you so much for allowing me to co-host with you tonight. And I'll let you wrap up the show, and thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you are an inspiration, and thank you so much for hosting tonight. Fabulous job. All of you ladies are inspirations, and it was wonderful, wonderful being on the show with you all tonight. I just want to give you a few quick more tips that I have, and the first one being hair and makeup artists at your pageant. I truly believe that it can make a difference. Someone who can do your makeup, make it look flawless, someone to do your hair extensions if needed. If you are taking the time to prepare for a pageant, putting money into it, I say do it upright. Do it upright, or don't bother coming. Be the best that you can be. And these ladies said that earlier too. You know, just be you, shine forth, and be the best that you can be. Also, my personal opinion, I'd recommend getting a coach, someone who's familiar with your system, someone who's going to be honest with you and tell you like it is and tell you what you need to do to bring yourself to the next level. You know, that may be something that you can't see yourself, or your friends or family, they can't see, or maybe won't tell you. Also, it's 2013. There's no excuse for anyone to not have white teeth. So I'd say whiten your teeth, everyone. Come with white teeth. Again, I'm Stephanie McGrane, International Super Ms. for America's Super Pageant. And I want to ask you if you're aware of how many teens, according to Toyota, have admitted to using their cell phone while driving. And that's 86%. I think that's crazy. Yes, 86%. And teens are 4 times more likely to get into a crash while using their cell phone than adults. Put the cell phone down, buckle up, arrive safe, arrive alive. We are looking for delegates to represent their states and countries at America's Super Pageant next month in Hamilton, Montana, June 21st through the 23rd. Please find us on Facebook. Check us out at americasuperpageant.com. Send me a message on Facebook. I'd love to share my experience with you about being International Super Ms. And I had a wonderful evening with all of you ladies tonight, and Christina. And Pam, I'm gonna throw it to you for your wrap up.
Christina, I would like to thank you for hosting. Thanks once again, Stephanie. Thank you, ladies, for coming. My last pageant tip is get out there and and be in a pageant, because you know what? The journey is the reward. You may not go home with a crown, but you may come home with a crown. But you know what? You're going to meet some fabulous people. You're going to learn some things about yourself, and that's what life is all about, learning in a positive manner. I want to thank everyone. Thank you to our viewers, and thank you to the guests. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
All of Australia, Mario and Taikisha.
Oh, yeah, and Paul.